Hey everybody, and welcome to another video about training of Ray's Storm. Ray's owner, Maureen, is really excited for us to start jumping, and I just wanted to show that today's video really highlights that we're getting ready to do just that. I am starting with one of my favorite exercises, is just 4 poles on a circle. So I'm starting off the trot for a couple reasons. I want to relax Ray about the turns and letting him see the poles in front of us. And everyone should note just how much better he is about going over poles than he was in the last video. And then secondly, I'm also starting at a trot because at the slower tempo, I can appreciate where he's going to bulge his shoulder. You'll notice that the barns are to our left in the corner of the photo. And that can have a big influence on Ray's positioning. So a lot of horses will bulge their shoulders towards the exit gate, and then that affects how the curve of my line is going to be on that side of the circle. So if I can learn his patterns at the trot, which is at a slower tempo, I'll be much more likely to ride him successfully at the canter, which is faster and things come up much more quickly. And it's a little bit harder to ride. You'll also notice that I leave the exercise by going straight rather than running out at a pole. My students kind of groan when I bring out this exercise because they know it's going to be quite difficult. Either you're going to miss every single pole and it'll be awkward and feeling very uncontrolled, or all of a sudden you find the sweet spot and you're able to ride a regular rhythm between each and every pole. But it's sometimes quite hit or miss. It's a lot easier just to canter a 20-meter circle and work on your canter without the poles. The poles actually force you to kind of really negotiate what sort of canter you have, whether your leg is on, whether you're holding, whether you're helping the horse turn with your shoulders. All these different aids can make the exercise kind of fall apart all of a sudden. But that's also why I like it, because as a rider learns to put their aids on better, they also learn to ride a better canter. And the same holds true for a green horse. So Ray hasn't felt me put this many aids on him at a canter before. This is my first time doing this exercise, and while I'm actually pleased that it's going so well, he is struggling to kind of listen to everything all at once. So through repeating this exercise, I've noticed that as soon as he jumps the yellow pole, his shoulders dodge to the inside, and all of a sudden I find myself 3 strides and a flat kind of line to the next pole. So this next set, I'm working on keeping him a little bit straighter over the yellow pole so that I have another 4 strides to the next pole. You can hear me start to count out loud because that actually helps me make a decision about what I want to ride the next quadrant in. That may have been a little more of a dramatic of a correction than I intended, but it showed just how much he was dodging to the inside with his left shoulder.
One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I was really pleased with how he went on the right lead, and this is his stiffer side, so sometimes horses on their stiffer side are a little bit easier to ride, and I felt like that was the case here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Typical of a racehorse, he also found himself a little bit leg-tied here and couldn't quite figure out what lead he needed to be on. And finally, I've also figured out that I should slow down, readjust my leg positioning, get a better suppleness off of my inside leg, and then he quietly picked up the correct lead and I could continue. So that took a little bit of focus on both of our parts. So I felt like that was a big success going to the right. And then I pulled out of the exercise, and now I wanted to work on the trot a little bit. The exercise got him a tiny bit rattled in the sense that he now had a lot of energy available to me as a rider. And I wanted him to relax, slow his feet, and focus on his rhythm a little bit better. One of my favorite sayings about thoroughbreds is that their brains move as fast as their feet. And if you let a thoroughbred zoom around on the wrong lead with their legs all going every which way, they really can't think clearly. But if you slow them down and give them an opportunity to kind of relax and breathe, then often you have a horse who's very much on your side and willing to work with you. I'm waiting for Ray to kind of soften his neck and reach forward to the bit in a more long and low stretching frame. And I didn't get it today as much as I do on other days, and I attribute that to the fact that I kind of challenged him with these 4 poles on the circle. But I think that's an important step for he and I to take, that you can't just stay on a 20-meter circle and hope that everything is fine. Challenging the horse to hear your aids and get conditioned to them is part of growing up and part of the training process. The 4 poles in the arena exercise really only took about 15 minutes, so I felt like it was a good time, since he was worked in nicely, to take him out to cross country and do our first workout alone without company. So I walked around for a bit and trotted a bit and started to use this very slight hill as part of his training. I'm asking for him to listen to my shoulders and my core going down the hill and take a shorter, more balanced step, and then ask him to kind of elongate and step forward into a bigger trot as he goes up the hill. Through repetition, he actually got quite good. Here's my second attempt down the hill, and you can see him kind of rock back at the top of the hill quite nicely. At the bottom, he kind of comes into my hand a little bit, but it wasn't bad. And then he starts to really register that the up the hill part is the most fun, so he really pushes well up that time. And this third time, he actually does it the best. He listened to my shoulders and my core, and I was able to not use my hands at all. And he still rocked back on his haunches and changed his trot to really hold himself upright and balance down that hill. So this is an exercise that I do pretty much ad nauseum with all my horses. Through the winter, we can do a lot of walk and trot work using these hills, and the footing stays quite good. And during the summer, I feel like it's a very basic exercise to help reiterate all of your aids on how to balance a horse and to extend a horse and through their different gaits. I am more than pleased with also how Ray is coping with his first workout alone without another horse out in the big wide cross country. Our cross country field is far away from the barns, and sometimes horses can get nervous and not work very well out there when they're by themselves. Because Ray appears to be the star pupil of the thoroughbreds, I think that the next video will probably include him starting over jumps. Look forward to seeing you then.
Out all night with some strange guy, waking me up at 5:30. Seems like running around is all you do. It's getting pretty plain to see, night owl you've turned out to be. I gotta get up every morning just to say goodnight to you. Well, one look at those bloodshot eyes and my head starts to hurt. You're coming home with alibis when I get up for work. I had as much as a man can take, so baby quit staying out so late. I gotta get up every morning just to say goodnight to you. My alarm clock rings and there you are, falling out of someone's car. told me you'd be home at 2:30. The break of dawn is your best friend. I'm telling you, gal, this better end. I gotta get up every morning just to say goodnight to you. For you to change your schedule is something that I doubt. Every day I punch the time clock about the same time you pass out. My morning